Caution.
The beauty of indie games is that you can find titles that remind you of what you played growing up. And that's exactly what happened to me when I stumbled upon Jenny the Witch by Catbirdsoft. Watching the trailer transported me back to the days of action platformers on the PS2. But what I found beneath the surface was a different story. Well, let's start with what we can see on the surface in this game's design. Style-wise, I'm reminded a lot of Invader Zim when I look at this game. The characters and their colors stand out against this grimy, dark environment. And I do put strong emphasis on the word dark. Being that this game takes place in underground tunnels, you're going to be moving through many dimly lit environments with little variation. The majority of the game is cold, concrete environments with a few different areas sprinkled in to spice things up. The game is so dim at points that I would actually recommend against playing this game during the day. Or at least if you plan to, dim the shades and adjust your screen settings. Because of sunlight coming through my window, I would deal with so much screen glare at points that it caused me to use my OBS screen to play the game. One design choice I really liked is the use of fixed security camera angles throughout the game. The ambient hum of the camera, mixed with the feeling of being watched, produced some eerie moments. Jenny the Witch's combat system can be best described as shallow. Jenny can shoot from her palms, similar to Iron Man, or strike at her opponents with her witch's broom. Shooting with Jenny feels decent, and her normal shooting attack can even turn into a spread shot when you jump and fire. You also have access to another projectile, as you'll find missiles throughout the game. Rather than blowing up on enemies, they launch into the air and fire needles. Though the damage is minimal, the missiles can still be decent for crowd control during battles. Now your standard melee attack is a 3-hit ground combo. In the air, your melee attack turns into a slashing ground pound. An issue I noticed with the melee combat in this game is that there's somehow a cooldown on your melee attacks, which has certainly screwed me over in the middle of battle. This is because your melee attack shares a meter with Jenny's broom, which you use to dodge attacks. If you time the dodge just right and hit one of the attack buttons, you can deliver a counterattack. However, you're locked into whatever direction you're facing after you hit boost. So if you're boosting away from an enemy and try to counterattack with your melee attacks, you're going to swing at nothing. With each enemy killed, you rack up money for upgrades, giving you access to hyper attacks. These attacks are stronger than your standard moveset, but require you to build up meter to use. The biggest benefit to these attacks is that you gain back health with every successful hit. Unfortunately, beyond hyper attacks, and a select few other upgrades, the game's upgrades largely didn't make me feel any stronger from when I started the game. With this combat system, you'll be tasked to take on waves of enemy robots. They typically fall into the category of melee or shooter. That is, except for these annoying little bomb robots. These pieces of crap will mob you and explode, chipping down your shield and your health. But that brings me to my biggest issue with combat. Even with an upgraded moveset, I feel ill-equipped to handle the amount of enemies that the game wants me to handle at a given time. All melee enemies will swarm you right away, while any ranged enemies will take positions and light you up as you try to manage it all. All the while, enemies feel a little too spongy with how much it takes to kill them all. This was made all the more confusing and a little bit frustrating as I was playing on normal difficulty, which felt more like I was playing on hard at points. But this isn't even my biggest pain point in this game. My actual biggest pain point in Jenny the Witch would be the platforming. If I could describe the game's platforming in one word, I would say frustrating. At points, I really felt that jumping was much too stiff or way too heavy for what the game wants from you. Most every jump that I landed in this game felt more like a close call, even with the assist of using the booster. And with some of these platforming puzzles, you'd think that if you'd land safely on a platform in the middle of the puzzle, you'd get sent back to that point if you fall. However, the game sends you back to the start of the puzzle. Seeing through the frustration, I can still acknowledge that there's some great ideas here. Take this section based around timing, for example. You have to hit a series of buttons to activate platforms and progress onward. With a little tuning, this section would feel a lot less tight on timing. And I feel the same way about these sections that involve using fans to traverse. It seems like I have to jump onto the fan at a certain point or angle in order to get the most out of the boost. And with this jump in particular, I couldn't hook my camera around in time to see where I had to land. So I took blind leaps of faith until I brute forced my way to the platform. I really don't have all that much to say about the story of Jenny the Witch. Much like the game's runtime, the story is brief. Maintenance workers go missing in the tunnels of New York, and you go down on a mercenary contract to rescue them. It's all told through these text segments between gameplay, but there really isn't much to grip onto story-wise, though the art looks pretty cool. Ultimately, while Jenny the Witch has captured the spirit of the 6th generation, it's lacking the polish that made those action platformers so replayable and fun. To the credit of Catbirdsoft, they are planning to support the game past the release date. I hope that they'll tune up the gameplay a little bit for the better. As it stands, I don't think I can recommend this one. However, if you are interested in checking this one out, there is a demo available on Steam. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed what you saw, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.